Welcome back to the Brandmerry channel, where we are sharing personal branding and marketing strategies to help you improve your impact and your income. I am Michelle Knight, founder and CEO of Brandmerry, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you what I think is an awesome onboarding process for your private clients. The first thing that I recommend is that you have some sort of application or form that your potential client completes. So many of my clients are jumping on the phone with potential clients or having some sort of email correspondence back and forth before the actual investment. And I find that that's really great for a few reasons. Number one, you get to know your ideal customer to see if they're actually a great fit for you and your brand. And then they get to ask some additional questions, because when it comes to one-on-one services, sometimes people have very specific things that they're wanting that the product itself is designed to be kind of customizable. You know, even for my photographer clients, they're customizing some of their packages based on the type of wedding that their client is planning on having. And so that is really helpful to kind of work those things out, obviously, before payment, okay? So I recommend some sort of application or form where someone answers a lot of important questions. So if you are a photographer, you want to ask questions like, what's the date? Like, what's the wedding date? What is the theme? How many guests? Do you have a location? If you're a graphic designer and someone is applying for your services, one of your one-on-one packages, maybe you want to ask questions of like, are you looking for a logo? Are you looking for a website? Are you looking for, social media templates or whatever? Do you have a brand established, or do you need support with that? So by asking these type of questions, you can go into the conversation with the information that you need to close the conversation a lot faster. If we're going back and forth or spending 20 minutes of our call asking these types of questions, then we can't really get to the important part, which is how you can ultimately support them and them investing in your product and your service. So asking these questions on the front end is really helpful. For my service, my VIP intensives that I offer monthly, I actually have an application. So you have to apply it for that spot. But in the past, I used to just have a discovery call form where I'm just discovering some things about you before our call. So that application can be done a lot of different ways, a lot of forms. We use HoneyBook. We've created a form in HoneyBook. We embed that on my website so it looks really native to my website and my brand. And then all of that information is stored in HoneyBook for that new potential client, which is fantastic. And we'll talk about that as well. Okay, the second step is scheduling. Now, if someone is going to be scheduling a call with you after they filled out their form, you want them to do this right away, and you want to send them directly to a scheduler. So HoneyBook does have a scheduler. We also love Acuity as well. We've been using Acuity for a really long time, so it's one of our favorites. But you can absolutely do this all in HoneyBook. Everything that I'm sharing with you can be done in HoneyBook, which is really nice. So whether you are having a scheduled call with them or you're going to be doing email correspondence, just let them know. So either take them directly to schedule a call with you. And I love a scheduler because nobody wants a back and forth situation. If I email somebody and I'm interested in working with them, I don't want to go back and forth to find a time that's available. I want to just look at their calendar and pick a time that works with my schedule. So take the time to set up your scheduler so that people can book a time with you right away. And you don't have to go back and forth to figure out when you're going to hop on the phone. We actually do this for our sessions as well. You're not emailing me and saying, hey, do you have time this week? No, you can go to my calendar and you can see it, and then you can get on my calendar. So it takes that back and forth out, which is important. No one wants to waste their time on that stuff. So after the application, you want to either send them directly to your scheduler or have something that pops up on the screen, a confirmation page that says your application was received. You'll be hearing from myself or my team within 48 hours. And that's what we do over here at Brandmerry now. So then the next step, step 3, is either having that discovery call or that email correspondence. And again, you're ready for those situations. You're ready for that call, that email correspondence, because they've filled out that form or application ahead of time. So you have the information that you need to lead the conversation, to support them, to answer their questions, so that you can ultimately close the timeline from inquiry to sale. And that's really important because you don't want that process to be long and drawn out. So we love to do our correspondence in HoneyBook. As I mentioned, someone is applying, their information is going directly into HoneyBook, and now all of our communication can happen there as well. I see that in Gmail, so I can absolutely just see it in Gmail, but I have a HoneyBook app on my phone, so I can just log in and communicate. My team can log in and communicate as well, and that's really beautiful and seamless. You can also add notes in there, so if there's specific notes that you want to, put in place for that potential client, if you know you have a scheduled call and you want to bring these things up, it's just a really nice place to do that. For calls, we usually hold those on Zoom, but you could also use Google Hangouts as well. So lots of options there. Okay, now you've had the call, you've had the email correspondence, and we're ready to rock and roll, right? This is step 4, and this is typically the proposal section. So this might be the final email that says, okay, this is what you get when you enroll. You're gonna get this much time with me, you're gonna get this much support, it's this much money. Here is ultimately the link to sign up, or here are the next steps, right? So you're kind of laying out, like, this is how we get this party started, this is how we rock and roll. Another thing that you can do at this stage, and again, I feel like I'm saying it over and over again, but another reason we like HoneyBook, and many of my clients use it as well, is that you can craft really beautiful brochures and proposals. So while I don't use this per se in my business, it's something that I probably would have used like 4 years ago, but wasn't using HoneyBook at the time. So there you have it. But a lot of my photography clients will have saved proposals where they have the packages outlined, and then they'll go in and they'll customize that. So they'll add that particular person's wedding date, and if they know when they're going to have the engagement session, they'll put that in there. And if there's specific brand or wedding colors that they have that they know, they might sub out some of the photos. They make it really customized to the customer. And that's really amazing because it shows that attention to detail. And so if you're a graphic designer, a photographer, any sort of these like custom packages that you're creating proposals or brochures, an interior designer, you can use this amazing tool to send a really beautiful custom brochure to your potential customer. And then within the brochure, they can actually click and it can be linked to the contract, so then they can go on to the next step. Over here at Brandmerry, we are sending a summary email of what the next steps are, and then they can move forward into initiating a contract. Which leads me to number 5, which is the contract. So with high-level one-on-one clients, big packages that you're talking anywhere from, maybe $1,500 to freaking $30,000, depending on how long the contract is or what it is, you want to make sure that you have a contract in place. So HoneyBook has templates available for you, which is really nice. Although I do recommend going through a legal service or a lawyer to get a contract drafted. You can use a template. You can get your own contract drafted. Just do your due diligence because it's important to stay protected. And it's a great way to just make sure that you and your customer feel really, really good about the relationship that you're heading into, and a way for you to both sign it and kind of kick off this entire party. So we send the contract at this stage, and as I've mentioned, we use HoneyBook, and the contract itself can go through HoneyBook, and then you can customize the email that goes with it as well. So inside of our email template that we've created, it says your contract is here, so excited to get started. After you sign your contract, your invoice will be delivered immediately. And we have all of those set up in a workflow. In fact, pretty much everything that I've shared with you besides the proposal phase is all automated, which is very, very nice. So, and the call. The call's not on. You can't really automate those. Not yet, anyways. And I don't recommend it. So contract, sending that out, plugging in those important details, and then that can automatically go out. Number 6, which is the invoice, and this is where they're ultimately gonna pay for your services. And again, you can set this up ahead of time, go in, make any modifications to the numbers or payment plans that you want, and you can kick that out. So there are a lot of different ways to collect payment. Again, one of the reasons that I love HoneyBook is that you can do pay in full options. You can customize the payment breakdown. Maybe it's every month for 6 months. Maybe they're doing more upfront and then a little less every, the remaining 5 months. Do they want to automatically do that? You can set that up as well. So it just makes the whole process so easy. And again, you can create all of these templates and these workflows so that it's just automatically happening on the back end with the platform. Some of my clients also have customized workflows based on their different tiers. So my graphic design clients might have just a logo package and then a logo and website and then a logo, website, and retainer. And so they can customize these workflows. And after that initial proposal is accepted, they can just tag them in that workflow and then they're getting those customized emails, which is lovely. Same with my photography clients. If they have like an engagement or a newborn or a family or a wedding, they can customize all of that inside of HoneyBook specifically. Okay, so contract invoice brings us to number 7, which is the welcome email. Congratulations, we're embarking on this relationship together. That's essentially what it is. But I always like to say that this is like the important information. If anything is floating around in your new client's head where they're like a little uncertain, this is where you want to take care of all of that. So these emails tend to be a little bit long, but we save these again as templates inside of HoneyBook and then just get to go in and kind of add information. So for Brandmerry, for one-on-one coaching, when you get a welcome email, you get a reminder about any bonuses that you got. So many of my VIP clients get access to my course You Branded. So we have that information there, as well as a link for their login. They have information on scheduling their session. Again, a direct link to my scheduler so they can find a time that works for them. All of my clients get a private folder in Google Drive. Again, we have that section and a link for them for the private folder. We talk a little bit about the support, if they need any questions with billing, who they should reach out to, and then they have everything that they need to get started. I also love to give them a little bit of a timeline. Let's say our session is the next month, because I typically book out my intensives an entire month or 2 in advance. So I'll say, before our session, these are the things that I want you to work on and put into our folder so that we're ready to rock and roll. So they've got everything that they need, and they're not emailing me and feeling confused or lost or anything like that. And then we can ultimately get them into the workflow, and it'll send them a reminder before their session to fill out their form, and so on and so forth, which leads me to number 8, which is tracking progress. So when someone becomes a client, that whole onboarding process is so important, but then how are you tracking them? And are you sending them surveys before their sessions? Are you checking in with them? Are you asking them for feedback? This hands down is one of the reasons that I love HoneyBook, because it allows me to do that, to pay attention to when someone's contract is ending, when their session is coming up. I can automatically send out 24 hours before a session form so they can complete it, so I'm ready to go. And all of that is set up as a workflow in the platform. So while 1 through 7 was like before the session, or maybe even the date really kicked off, don't forget about the tracking progress and the staying in contact and organizing that entire part, because that's really important. And I find that some people kind of drop the ball a little bit and then don't support their client at the highest level through that process. One of the last things I want to share with you about HoneyBook, one of the things that I love, is that if you are a graphic designer and you need approvals, you can create client portals in the platform as well, which makes it super easy to keep everything clean and in one area. So I hope that this was really helpful for you to just understand all of the different I can't even say the word, all of the different parts of the client onboarding process. Again, if you want to try HoneyBook, you can go to brandmerry.com/honeybook, get 50% off your first year after your free trial, and give it a spin. There you have it. 8 steps to client onboarding, plus a little bonus if you are working with your clients as a graphic designer. You're wanting approvals approved, you're wanting proofs approved, you're wanting to send photos for approval, anything like that. HoneyBook is a great platform to keep it all together. As I've mentioned in numerous videos, we're all about simple over here, and I don't want to have to track a bunch of different things. So that's one of the reasons that we love this platform. Choose the platform that works best for you. I know HoneyBook doesn't work in like Australia, and I'm sorry, but there are options out there. Take this 8-step process and apply it to whatever platform you want to run with. If you want to give HoneyBook a try, you can go to brandmerry.com/HoneyBook HoneyBook and you'll get 50% off your first year after your free trial. So it's a good place to just go in, play around, see what's available to you, and use this video as a framework for supporting your potential clients to recurring client at the highest level. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment below, and I will see you next week for another video.